This is Bob Elliott at the main information desk of Crumliffe's department store. Rather than speak with the information clerk, I'm going to go up to a floorwalker who's standing just a few feet away wearing a carnation and have him tell us something about the Christmas crowds and the rush that he's all a part
How do
of.
you do? I'm William McKinley-Duckston.
Mr. Duckston, we spoke to you just before you went on the air. I wonder if you'd tell us how you operate during a big rush like this. Do you get more questions at Christmas
Yes,
season?
but you see, the funny part of all this, of course, is that I am not an employee of this store.
You're hired just for the Christmas time, is that
I'm
right?
not even hired at all.
Uh-huh.
I'm more or less self-employed. What I do is, of course, arrive at the store, and I come down without a top coat or overcoat, and I have a flower in my lapel.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
wear a hat. So that when I come in the store, I look like an employee,
You're
and I
wearing
look like a floor walker.
Striped morning trousers there, too.
That's right. I bought these years ago for a wedding I went to, and they fit in very well now.
Well, just what
I
do you
fit
do
into
in-
them very well now.
How are you self-employed here if you're not a floor walker?
Well, when a lady comes up to me, for instance, and says, "Do you sell minks here?" I say, "No, we don't, madam."
But they have a big mink department here
I
at
know,
Crumliffe's.
but it's a joke to see her go flying out the door to another shop. And then I'll have some lady come up and say, "Where's housewares?" I'll say, "It's up on the 11th floor."
Uh-huh.
And up she goes, and they're in the basement.
Well, I know that. Well, this is kind of a mean thing to do, especially at Christmas time. It must make people a lot more work, a lot more time. in
Oh,
their
sure
shop.
it does. They get blazing mad, and I keep changing. I don't stay around the same spot too long, because when that lady gets up to the 11th floor, and finds out that they're in the basement, well, and the fur will fly.
You
and give
can't
it-
be in the same place.
No, I
huh?
keep moving.
Well, that's kind of an unhappy thing, but I
Put
guess
out
you
that
get fun
cigarette,
out of
no
it. Oh, I'm
smoking.
sorry. Which way is the main exit? I've got to leave.
3rd floor. Take the escalator.
Thanks very much.
And now a cookie with marshmallow on it, then covered with chocolate, and then a piece of candied fruit on top of that. Brings you another episode of Matt Neffer, Boy Spotwelder. As we look in on Matt, he's in the front room of his home talking to his good friend Todd. And we hear Todd say,
And before that, Matt, I went down to the post office, but there was nothing in the box.
Out here in the kitchen, Todd.
I said before that I went down to the post office, found nothing in the mailbox.
Mm-hmm. Wonder what that means.
Well, it means that no one wrote to you.
No, but didn't I just last week get a letter saying that I'd received one on this date and that I was to memorize its contents?
Yes, I seem to remember something about that, Matt, but if you didn't get a letter today, you certainly can't memorize the contents of it. I was thinking perhaps they'd wire you, send you...
I'm out here in the back entry, Todd.
I was thinking perhaps they'd wire you, send you a telegram or something.
Todd, do they put up peanut butter in 5-pound cans anymore?
Not that I know of.
We used to
Matt.
keep it out here in the back entry.
None here now, that's obvious.
It's before they homogenized it. Remember, it used to have all the oil on top and you used to have to
Yes.
knife it?
Yes, those were good old days, Matt. Days when we weren't as... Telephone is ringing, Matt. You want to answer it, or shall I?
Why don't you go answer it, Todd?
Did I pick up the receiver yet, Matt?
I'm out here in the garage. I can't hear you very well.
Well, I'll pick it up again anyway. Hello?
Neffer,
No, this isn't... Who are you?
did you memorize the letter?
Just a moment, please. Matt, I think it's for you.
What?
There's a telephone call, something about a letter. I think it's
Would
for...
you take it, please? I just took the head off the motor here. My hands are all greasy. I wonder, could you take the call for me?
Come to think of it, I think they do put up peanut butter in 5-pound containers now.
Oh, they do?
Oh, I didn't mean you. I was just talking to Matt. He's in the garage with the head off the motor.
You tell him the head'll be off himself unless he memorizes the contents of the letter that he received today.
Very funny. What's that you say?
I say just tell Neffer to memorize the contents of the letter that arrived today.
But no letter arrived today. That's what I was just telling him. I was down at the post office, and I looked in the box, and there was no mail at all.
Up here in the attic. What's going on
Never
down
mind,
there?
Matt. I'll handle this.
All right.
I think it's better that you don't have anything more to worry about.
So pass it along to Neffer.
And you would worry about this if you were
Goodbye.
talking to this man on the phone. Hello?
A cookie with marshmallow on it, then covered with chocolate, and then on top of that a piece of candied fruit, has brought you another episode of Matt Neffer, Boy Spotwelder.
Well, we thought it might be nice right now. Is that light blinking on the phone there?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to hold off what we were going to do. This could be important. Hello?
Hello, Bob.
This is Bob.
Hey, Ray, how are you, fella? This is Steve
Bob.
Bosco. Hey,
Steve.
Ray, hope you have a good and happy New Year for
Steve
yourself.
Bosco,
Put up,
ladies
Bob,
and
will you, Ray boy?
This is Bob, Steve. Wait a minute. It's
Hey,
Steve.
Bob, Steve.
Right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, what do you think of all those ball games?
Oh, they were real good.
How you doing, fella?
They look...
Hey, did you have a Happy New Year?
Yes, wonderful, Steve.
Hey, that's...
Haven't
hey,
heard from you for several weeks now.
Hey, Bob.
Yes?
Happy New Year, fella.
And
hey,
it's-
look, Bob.
Yes.
Steve here.
Right.
Hey, look. I need some money.
Well, now, wait a
I
minute.
want to head down to Clearwater, Florida, take a look at some of the baseball teams,
Well, one
Bob.
thing now, the spring training doesn't start for a couple of months yet, at least, and this is kind of early to be going down there, don't you think?
How you doing? Hey, did you have a Happy New Year?
Yeah, well, real
hey,
nice.
good, Bob. Say Happy New Year to Ray.
Listen, we haven't had any reports from you for months
Bob,
now.
this is Steve.
Right, I
Hey,
know.
how you doing? Hey, look, I need some money. I want to go down and cover the spring training of the baseball
Well,
teams.
will
I
you-
want to go to
Will
Clearwater.
you make sure you'll call us and give us reports if
Yeah.
we send it?
How you going, Bob? I hear you all the time, every
Okay.
afternoon and mornings.
Wonderful.
Nights. I listen to you. Hey,
Yes.
Happy New Year, Bob.
The same to you, and we'll get the money off if we can be promised a report for next week.
Hey, would you send about $600, Bob?
Where'll I send it?
To the most expensive hotel in Clearwater. And now, this is Steve Bosco rounding third, being thrown out at home.
No, it's eating time, huh? What do we have in the way of refreshments, Tony?
Raisin toast, Arthur.
Raisin toast.
That's right, Arthur.
Isn't this National Donut Week?
I didn't know that, Arthur.
Is what it says here.
Well, we don't have any donuts, Arthur.
National Donut Week.
We have raisin toast sent over
National
from the...
Donut Week. All of our folks here in the studio should receive a donut.
Sent over from the Raisin Institute, Arthur.
Let's commemorate the event. We can hand each one of them a donut, huh?
We don't have any, Arthur.
We don't have any donuts for them,
No, we don't,
but
Arthur.
this is National Donut Week.
Well, I'm sorry, Arthur, but I'm not in charge of this.
Well, I thought you took care of all of the arrangements.
Well, I do not, Arthur.
I suppose you don't know that the 31st is National Apple Day. We all have an apple for everybody.
No, we haven't, Arthur. No apples here at all, Arthur.
Well, who's in charge of this stuff anyway?
I don't know, Arthur.
You certainly. What have you been doing with your time? No preparation whatsoever.
Sorry, Arthur.
Want to see you right after the show.
All right, Arthur.
You know where my office is.
I don't have a pass to get up there,
I'll
Arthur.
expect you right after the show. Now back inside.
Wally Ballou today is covering a great event that we thought would be very interesting to most of you people, and that is the now famous submarine races held along the eastern shoreboard up there somewhere around Maine. But Wally will tell us exactly. So if you'd come in, please, Wally Ballou. This is New York calling Wally Ballou along the coast of Maine. Please, come in, Wally.
This, of course, is regatta time all over the country, and this is something a little bit different, I think.
Second, Bob.
Yeah.
I thought he was coming in. Go ahead. Let's try it once more.
Ballou, off Bath, Maine, where in just a moment you'll hear the starting signal, the throwing of a rock into the river, which signifies the start of the submarine race. They'll race from the point where we're standing to some half a mile up the beach
and where Artie Schermerhorn is standing by with his
Come on,
portable microphone.
236.
Now, one of the officials is ready to drop the rock.
237.
And in a moment, you'll hear the rock drop, and the submarines will submerge as this crowd of some 1,400 people. There it goes, and there they go under. They've submerged, and you'll hear the cheers as they start on their way. They're both now completely submerged and heading for the finish line, a race against time. Here's one of the spectators standing over here. How do you like so far the race today, sir?
This is a lousy spectator sport. I paid $1.10, including tax, to sit here in the grandstand, and all I do is go under the water. I see them start, and that's the end.
Well, how
You never
else
know
is a
who
submarine
wins.
going to race anyway?
Well, they could race on the top, couldn't they?
Well, that wouldn't prove the true prowess of the submarine under actual conditions.
Well, I think it's a miserable spectator sport.
Now, down at the other end of the finish line, Artie Schermerhorn, my broadcasting partner, and his portable microphone.
Schermerhorn here at the other end of the line, where in just a few moments we expect one of the two submarines to cross the finish line first. It's very hard for me to determine from my particular vantage point just who is in the lead at this moment.
Can you see anything, Artie? Hello, Artie.
T. Schermerhorn back. Don't interrupt me, please, Wally. You ruined the thread of my
No, I was wondering
thinking.
if you could see anything from where you're standing.
I was just saying, it's very difficult for me to see anything from where I'm standing. The water, I would estimate, here is probably 30 feet deep, and just enough for the submarines to... I might point out, too, that the tide is coming in. When I first went on the air, I was on what appeared to be dry land. I'm now in water halfway up my legs. However, I shall stay here until...
Hello,
we have a
Artie.
finish.
Sorry to cut in here. I hear a mighty cheer going up from the crowd along the bank, so they must have seen something. I think periscopes are up, and we should have a winner at any minute now. Can you see him, Artie?
Tide is running very high here now. I only hope you can hear me. It's up to my shoulders, and as I understand, along this particular part of the Atlantic Ocean, this particular shore, they have some very high tides, but I'm going to try to get out of here now for a fair.
Artie Schermerhorn seems unable to announce the winner, and since we can't see it from here, we'll return you to New York. And here with us is a man with rather an interesting job that we picked out of the audience just a few moments ago. Mr. Bird, I think your name is that right?
Yes.
B-Y or B-I, Artie?
B-Y.
What's your first name?
Fleming.
Fleming Bird. Do you mind if I call you Fleming? Is that all right?
Certainly.
Mr. Bird, you work in a fingernail clipper factory, is that right, as a tester?
That's right, sir. I test the fingernail clipper itself, the edge, the sharp edge, see if it cuts.
I've seen these advertisements saying that each clipper has been tested. How do you go about that, sir? How do you do it?
Oh, I clip.
Don't use your own fingernails.
Yes, I do.
Do you really?
Yes. I, of course, can only test 12 a day that way. 12
Well,
clippers.
I see. And you're going to... that doesn't make very much of an output, then. You're not the only tester there, are you?
Yes, I am.
So when you work a 5-day week, that's 60 clippers a week they turn
Let's
out.
see, 12 times 5.
60.
12 twos are 24. 12.
No, it's 2 5s are 10,
2
1
5.
5 is 5, and carry 1 there.
60.
Makes 60.
That'd be 60 a week.
That's right. And they get a quarter apiece for them.
Yes, 25 cents a piece they get for them.
That's $15, isn't it?
Well, let's see, 25.
Well, this isn't important. I wanted you to actually test one.
Wait a second. 25 times. What was that figure you had?
Well, sir, our time is a little bit valuable here. We don't have all day.
25 times 5. 5 fives would be.
I just don't.
25.
I was thinking the economics of
Would
the
you
thing.
carry it too there? Yes,
I think
you
so.
would.
Now, will you test one of these clippers? I'd like to see you do that.
Well, I saved one fingernail so I could test it.
One hand, you mean?
Yes.
All right.
There.
There's one.
And now another.
That does work. Good. Now, can you tell at this point whether the clipper's in good shape?
Yes. These 3 have been fine now.
All right.
The 4th one.
Mm-hmm.
Now the 5th one. And the sixth one.
Well, there you have an actual demonstration of how these fingernail clippers are tested. Thank you very much, Fleming Bird.
What's that, 25 times 5?
Yeah, I'll get with you a little later.
And now Panucci with or without nuts. The greatest name in fudge presents another episode of One Fella's Family. Today's episode, entitled Fixing the Family Sandbox, is taken from Book 11, Chapter 14, pages 19, 20, 21, and the bottom of page 7. As we look in on the family, we find Father standing just outside the kitchen door, and Fanny, too. And we see Fanny.
Fanny, have you seen my hammer?
You what?
My hammer. There's a loose board on the sandbox.
Well, I believe it's down in your toolbox. It's where you always put those things when you get through with them.
Nonsense.
If you put it back when you got through with it last time.
Nonsense. I always put my tools back after I use them. That's the sign of a good mechanic.
That's what?
Huh? I said that's a sign of a good mechanic, a good carpenter.
Oh, well, yes.
Any good workman.
Well, yes, but if it's not there, then
If
where
I was
would
a
it be?
cement mason, I'd put my trowel away. Huh. If I was a carpenter, my hammer and saw. If I were an automobile mechanic, my Stilton wrench.
You know you're really an awful bore sometimes, Daddy. You
Fanny,
do
Fanny,
take up more time with some of these things that you really shouldn't.
All
I
I'm
know
trying to
those
do is
things.
find my hammer, Fanny.
Well, if you put your hammer back the last time you used it, it would be, if you were a good mechanic, as you say, it would be in the toolbox, would it not?
Here it is, right here. What was I going to do with it?
You know, you've been standing on my foot now almost 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry, Fanny. My mind has been busy with thoughts of filling the sandbox. Getting it ready for the children for this weekend.
What?
Getting the sandbox ready for the children.
Oh, yes. Well,
Hanky
that
and
would be
Panky.
nice. Yes, that would be nice.
They're coming down from the ranch to visit us for the weekend.
Why don't you move the sandbox over to the shady spot?
A little bit of sunshine never did anybody any harm, Fanny.
Do you want to fight about everything I say?
The sandbox is heavy.
Well,
Take a team of horses to pull it over to that shady spot.
all right, then.
By the time we get there, the sun will be past the shady spot.
Yeah.
Get the picture?
Oh, now don't get smart. I've got the picture all right. Just do what you want to do and don't bother me none.
Fanny, Fanny, Fanny.
You've been listening to One Fella's Family, brought to you by Panucci, with or without nuts, the greatest name in fudge. Today's episode, entitled Fixing the Family Sandbox, was taken from Book 11, Chapter 14, pages 19, 20, 21, and the bottom of page 7. One Fella's Family is written and produced by T. Wilson Messy. This is a Messy production.
One of the most unusual people that we came across during this past week was a gentleman farmer in Henderson, Vermont. And the following was taped on location at his farm by me just a few days ago. I wonder if you'd roll that tape, please. Hello. One of the most unusual people we've come across in the past week is this farmer who's standing here with me in Henderson, Vermont. Would you give us your name first, please, sir?
Yes. Nelson Malaman.
Mr. Malaman, I understand that you run what is the only one we've ever heard of a four-leaf clover farm. Is that right?
That's right. I have hybrid four-leaf clovers that I have developed over the years.
And you sell them for good luck.
Good luck charms. They
charms.
They put them in these
Plastic
keychains and like that.
I know that you said this was going to be a banner year for you. Why did you use the term "was going to be"?
Well, unfortunately, we had a few tough breaks happen. For one thing, my first load of four-leaf clovers that I had my assistant run over in a truck over to Bellows Falls. We put them on a train there for New York. These
were in bulk. They weren't
went off
processed.
a cliff.
The truck went off a cliff.
This was one of the big orders that you had planned.
The biggest order, and it was my whole first crop.
Uh-huh.
I'm working on my second crop now. Fortunately, I've been laid up, and I couldn't be on the job to supervise the thing.
You been ill?
Well, I suppose you could say that. I was coming in the door of the greenhouse one day, and the horseshoe fell down, hit me on the head.
I notice you still have the bandage there.
The cocoon.
Now, you certainly have what looks to be a good growing crop out there, although...
Well, it was going pretty good.
You were telling me just before we went on the air that the crop dusting plane crashed.
Yes,
on
it
Wednesday.
did. The pilot was okay, but the plane is beyond repair.
Well, what were you dusting the crops for in the first place?
Well, because the deadly thrips had set
what?
in. Deadly thrips.
Thrips.
If they attack your four-leaf clovers, they eat them off right at the root, where the root comes up out of the earth, the ground.
Ruin your
Humus.
Mm-hmm.
Humus.
Well, now, this crop, then, is pretty well shot as far as...
It's pretty bad. The whole year will have to be written off. It's one
But
of the
you are starting some
toughest.
potted clovers there in the greenhouse, I know.
That's right. That's the only hope now is to grow them inside.
That will save you. It would
It will
pull you through.
It will even out a year. This could
What was that?
That's tough luck.
That
That telephone pole just fell over and through the greenhouse.
right through the center of the greenhouse.
Yeah.
I don't think you could pick the clovers out of that.
Not
mess.
without cutting yourself. No, I guess I better forget it for this year.
Well, it's been interesting to talk to you, and a lot of good luck to you, Mr. Melliman.
Thank you. I'll need it.
Farmer takes a wife, the farmer takes a wife, hi-ho the dairy-o, the farmer takes a wife. Once again, with his distinctive theme, it's time for Agriculture News with our Bob and Ray expert, Dean Archer Armstead of the Lackawanna, New York field station.
Hello again, Bob, and hello again, friends everywhere.
Well, Dean, once again, of course, fall is really upon us. You can feel it in the weather.
Oh, it's certainly in the air, and there's spot and a pumpkin.
And I know there are quite a few questions here from our listeners who are perplexed about various problems around the farm.
But we're here for, Bob. If you care to read some of the letters, I'd be very pleased and happy to take a few moments of my time to answer them.
Well, one in particular here is concerned over storing alfalfa or feed for the winter. I wonder if you have any
Well, that, of
advice.
course, would be primitive to one section of the country. However, I assume that we have enough victims in that section of the country of the alfalfa farmers that I should spend a little time with them. Go ahead.
Excuse me, go ahead.
To store alfalfa, it would be best to get it in from the element, because if you know, you get a lot of field bugs.
And keep it dry, I suppose,
That's
too.
right, because we get alfalfa rot.
And then one or two, were you through with that one?
True, definitely.
One or two others are concerned over fruit trees, whether they should prune them here in the fall or wait until next spring.
Well, it's a matter of taste.
It's a matter of taste and...
whether you want to prune them in the fall or prune them in the spring. Now, I personally prune my apple trees in the spring, and I prune some fruit, my peach trees, my tubbit trees in the fall.
In other words, it would depend on the type of tree, the type of fruit.
And, of course, where you're located. Whether you have severe or mild winters makes very little difference in that respect.
I see. Well, now, is there any parting word you have for the farmers who are listening to us right at this moment and who follow your words of advice with great sincerity?
Yeah. Goodbye.
Dean Archer Armstead of the Lackawanna Field Station, our Bob and Ray special agricultural consultant. Here, seated at our Bob and Ray microphone at this time, is one of the world's outstanding... Well, just a minute, please.
Henrik, the first name is pronounced.
Henrik. Mr. Henrik Wadley, who hails, I believe, from Cuyahoga Park... Wait, just a minute, folks.
Cuyahoga Falls.
Cuyahoga Falls,
Ohio.
Ohio, and who has been billed around this country, and I believe in some foreign countries too, as the world's foremost impersonator of George Brent. Sir, you are a man about, 53 or 54 years old?
That's right.
And may I call you Heinrich?
Henrik.
Henrik. How did you happen...
Well, Henny is... people who know me call me Henny.
How did you happen to take up impersonations? Were you dramatically inclined as a child, or what?
Well, I wouldn't say I was dramatically inclined, Mr. Bob.
But either Mr. Elliott or Bob will be
all right,
fine.
well, Bob,
you speak up, Hen. Hen, could you speak up just a little bit? I said, have you done impersonations ever since childhood, or what?
I remember the question now. No, and I wasn't particularly dramatic. It was just that I saw a George Brent movie once, and I just thought I'd try to sound like him. And it came
could
out
you give us a little bit of George Brent? I think the folks would like to hear just how you go into this in your act.
Well, I say probably you'll remember this scene from a great movie. And then this is when I do the
This is what you do.
Well, I'm home. Anything new?
I don't remember the exact movie, but...
I don't either.
Neither does the voice sound too familiar to me. George Brent had quite a deep voice, as I remember. Have you lost the touch for it, or what? I mean...
Well, I've been doing it so long, and naturally, my voice...
How many years have you been impersonating George Brent?
Over 30 years.
30 years.
And, of course, I put a few gray hairs in my squash in that time, and my voice has changed.
Do you do any other voices?
Helmut Dantine.
Could we hear a little bit of Helmut?
What's going on in here anyway? That's Helmut.
I see on the card here you do Claude Dauphin, too?
Yes.
Could you do a little Claude Dauphin for us?
Sure. Well, that's the way it goes, I guess, dear. So long for
We've
now.
been chatting with Henny Wadley, the world's foremost impersonator of George Brent, with a few extras thrown in to kind of round out his entertaining. I want to thank you for coming all the way from Cuyahoga Falls, and let us know when your next appearance is.
I certainly will, Mr. Bob.
We had a great deal of mail since Webley Webster's last appearance, at which time he gave us a book review, and he's here today. Webb, quite a few people have requested that you give us another one, you with the help of the Webley Webster players. I see you have them assembled out there in the big studio. Do you have something for us?
Yes, that's right, Bob. I thought we might dramatize what I think is one of the most interesting scenes in a new book that I'm going to review for you, Tom Swift and his Atomic Fertilizer Spreader.
Oh, this is one of the Tom Swift series, of course, so familiar with the younger generation and the older.
Well, it's the latest, I think, the latest Tom Swift.
It must be.
He never employed atomic power before. Energy.
Well, now,
atomic energy.
Where does this scene take place? In his laboratory or in
they're about 4 days out at sea as we look in on the players now, and they'll dramatize, I think, the most dramatic part of the whole book.
Begging your pardon, Captain.
What be ye want, matey?
Well, we're 4 days out, and we still don't know where we're going. Isn't it time you opened the sealed orders?
Why... Now get up off on the deck and talk to me with a civil tongue in your head.
Begging your pardon.
Belay, matey. What you mean coming by here and giving the good cap'n orders?
Well, it's only that the men are getting a little shaky, sir. They want to know where they're going. Begging your pardon, sir. It was only a civil question I was asking.
Get up off the deck.
All right, sir.
Have ye all had your grog today?
That's right, sir.
Why...
Taking it easy, sir.
Now I think maybe you'll be keeping that civil tongue in ye head.
Aye, aye, sir.
Take off ye now to the galley. Get me some food.
Aye, aye, sir.
Why...
And that's the scene, huh?
That's it. I think that's the most dramatic thing I've ever heard or read about.
Where was Tom Swift?
I recommend it to everybody from 6 to 6.
Well, that's all right, but...
Tom Swift and his Atomic Fertilizer Spreader.
Another Webley Webster book review. We're now back inside.
Close in 5 minutes.